one off. First ban for Hazelnut Nightmare. We're going to see it off.
Well, the thing is, I don't have too much knowledge on these teams, but if I don't have a lot of knowledge in a sort of situation where you don't know the enemy team as well, you tend to just ban out heroes that you just don't want to see. So
I don't like this
you
person.
ban out the ones that you think will be the most of a hindrance to the composition you want to build, rather than try to specifically target anyone on the opposing side.
They're hate bans more than anything else.
Yeah, and we can see at the moment, we can see Morigesh and FaZe, both heroes that can be incredibly difficult to deal with. A lot of teams don't have sort of the know-how on how to deal with them straight away. They are incredibly difficult, especially in the good hands as well. Morigesh with Tainted Magic is incredibly powerful, and same with FaZe. The Link can gives a huge new sort of opening on other characters that can be picked in higher priority. Things like Crunch with the Link, Chimera with the Link, junglers that need that extra little bit of oomph become incredibly viable because of FaZe.
You know what? Another fun thing is, if you build FaZe tanky, she's actually really hard to kill as a tank with all that health regen. But one thing not a lot of people consider is Thermo Bond. If you get stunned out by FaZe, and you're going to, and you have a Thermo Bond on, you're giving that Thermo Bond health regen to your tether too.
Yeah, there's a lot of little intricate mechanics that way. Cast Converter is usually one of the most common ways where you spend a little bit of your mana and you can pretty much bring the person you're linked to pretty much up to full health with one Cast Convert, which is an insane amount of regen. And again, Revenant first pick on Hazelnut Nightmare, strong carry, and Grux and Decker, a strong duo combination. They've got their jungler sorted, they've got their support. So if your FaZe being banned, they managed to secure the Decker, incredibly strong pick there as well, which leaves up things like Narbash and Richter left over for Hazelnut should they choose to on that side as well.
All right, and coming out of the Hazelnut Nightmares, we're getting the Greystone. We're just waiting on the pick for Epiphany now, see what they're going to pick up. Team comp's pretty similar to the last ones in the last game. Big difference being the Grux. We're seeing a Grux for the first time today. Greystone and Bellica and Decker all picked in last games. Revenant's first game for today as well.
It is, and it's just solid picks overall. I mean, at the moment, Hazelnut don't really have sort of a great initiation to their team. That's what they're lacking. Greystone, yes, he can run in, but it's incredibly telegraphed. He wants to be sort of in the midst of other action, following up on some sort of crowd control. But they only have Bellica at the moment, which is not exactly enough. Whereas the side of Epiphany, who've got Grux, Decker, and a Gadget who can throw out slows on there, which is an incredibly strong lineup on their side. And they're going to have to follow up with something, Hazelnut. They're going to need some sort of good frontline or initiation to help Greystone get into those fights.
I wonder who that could be.
And there is the Crunch that you were talking about. However, while Crunch is what you're looking for, I don't think he fits into this comp. They don't have a great sort of way of getting into the fight.
It's gonna be hard because, like, I toot the robot's horn all the time, but he needs follow up 100%. Like, well, every initiator in the game needs a follow up, but some more than others. Like, Rampage can go in and just do his own thing and be pretty safe. Crunch can also do that, but usually Crunch has to commit to the fight because he's going to get focused. He's just such a large character that the second you see this robot rocket jetting at you, you're like, oh my god, this needs to stop, and you focus him before he can do any real damage. And that's why a lot of people feel like Crunch doesn't do that. And they also build him damage. If you build him tank, he's a lot more survivability. You know, that player model doesn't have as big of an impact when you're not hurting as much, you're not taking as damage. But they're gonna follow Crunch up with the Narbash. So a lot of CC out of Hazelnut Nightmares. Like, a lot of CC.
I mean, yes, they have CC, but the problem is Crunch has to get into someone's face. He has to get one hit off, then the uppercut. So charge, hit, then uppercut, which is pretty difficult to do against the lineup where Yin can just jump away, Decker can stun you, and Grux can actually pretty much beat you for most of the game if Grux is actually ahead. Especially if Grux is equal level, the first couple of levels, Grux actually wins.
A lot of the time. It depends. It's because they're both very damage heavy early game junglers. It depends on there's a few factors, because in that matchup, having played that matchup a lot myself, Crunch can win, but like they both have low cooldown abilities. Grux gets a slight edge on the bleed damage, just a bit. So really it depends on who has the CP advantage, how much health they have going into the fight. 1-for-1 going in, I will give Grux the advantage, just because the bleed will add up over time. Crunch doesn't get the bleed, he gets just the upfront hit. And then that's really it. But once level 5 comes around, then Crunch can start doing a little bit of work.
Yeah, in terms of sort of composition, I think Epiphany is. If we're gonna have to choose favorites on who do you reckon's gonna take this game, I love doing this as well. Sit here, get the casters divided in their opinions, and sort of build up a little bit more sort of excitement as to who we think.
Makes a story,
I just
right?
really think Epiphany's comp is way more well-rounded. They have Deca with the stasis bomb. They have Grux who can go in with the smash and grab. And then they have Deca Cage with Tesla Dome as well from the gadget. Not even including Yin and Vengmao, who are just overall good picks. And Crunch is going to have a really tough time against that. And that's kind of what I'm thinking Epiphany is more likely to take this game, just overall in composition.
I think it all depends. It all depends on the build, on how these people are building. If J. Leo Paquito, who's the guy who we're casting this game for, essentially, decides to build more damage and he falls behind, if he does what Meds did and doesn't have the success that Meds did, he's gonna have a rough time. If he builds tank, plays a little more safer on his engagements, it could work out better for him. But like I do agree with you, that team comp is a very traditional, well-rounded team comp coming out of Epiphany.
Yeah, I agree completely. And are you ready to hop into our game number 2 of today as well?
All right, let's do this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And we got the game 2 underway. It's Hazelnut Nightmare versus Team Epiphany. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our friends over on Hazelnut Nightmare. C-Train 319 is going to be on Greystone. Krieger Clone in the mid lane with the Bellica. Animal Crackers on the Revenant. Battered Beaver is going to be the Narbash. And J. Leo Paquito, my man, my boy Reggie Ledoux, on the Crunch. Now, I do want to point something out here, Gems. Everyone on their team is green, except for one person, and that's Bellica. They could have had the skin intimidation, but they ruined it.
Well, they're going for sort of the camouflage in the jungle. With trees. Go green, camo style, hiding around, where you can't be seen except for the big glowing health bar above your head.
They had skin intimidation, but Krieger Clone messed it all up. All right.
But yeah, on the side of Epiphany, though, let's get onto that side. We do have Big Boys on the Deca, Tentator on the Yin, MVP Posey on the Grux, Katie Stanley on the Gadget, and Rancid Luffy on that Vengmao. And right off the bat, we see the sort of dummy ward setup. Standard laning phase with the 2v1s. No sort of different sort of strats or shenanigans happening this game. Both teams gonna wait around and see how their junglers decide sort of the definition of how this game's gonna go.
We are seeing both junglers start off at the buff closest to their fountain and then going straight to green buff. MVP Posey taking a lot of damage from that green buff. He's not looking too healthy. Same with J. Leo Paquito. So both junglers sitting at roughly the same health. And we'll see how they progress through this one. Kiting on them is looking a little weird.
It's interesting to see the junglers' pathings that they take. They both went for the green second, which means that neither of them are going to have it at the 3-minute mark. It's an incredibly popular pathing that a lot of junglers will take. But it does leave them a little bit weaker at the 3 minutes, but they get the clear guaranteed so that they're there at that point in time, which I really like because some of the slower clear junglers won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
But again, not going to be too much of an issue either side here. It's getting this near that 3-minute mark where the buffs are going to be spawning and the junglers should be hitting level 3 any minute now.
I find getting away through the entire jungle clear without losing the green buff actually pretty tough. Like, the requirements, man, to get through the green, get the entire ground jungle, keep your green buff. Oh, and he's going to grab the black buff. Jay Leo is ready to fight as he starts hitting down that gadget. There's a knock-up. Is he going to go for the slow? He's going to go for the auto attack. He could get blown up by the sticky bomb. No, he lives with 30 health. That's going to be a first blood going to the Brobot on Hazelnut Nightmare.
Using that black buff as well to give him that little bit of an advantage in the duo fight. He also had the backup, and as I say that, MVP Posey with the purple buff just comes in and takes the kill straight off the bat. The recall here of JD Paquita. That gives them a bit more help here, and again, more kills than the Greystone dying in this offlane as well.
We do have, yep. Ain Attentator. Walking away with 15 health. He's going to go on to this gold buff. He might actually die to that thing if he spends too much time on it. And there we go. He's going to pick that one up. Gets to walk away. In the left lane earlier, we did see Animal Crackers go for the kill on Rancid, but Rancid Luffy pulling out the conversion shield just at the last second to absorb the damage of the Obliterate.
Yeah, it's one of the things why Feng is loved by a lot of offlaners. That conversion shield is incredibly strong against high burst targets. Posey here just pushing up the lane here, trying to get it sort of reset here potentially for the side of Feng. So that he can get some more farm later. He can go into the jungle, get a little bit for himself as well. But the main issues with this is he does reveal it where he is on the map, which means that they're going to lose a lot of pressure at the point.
They're so forward with each other. All that, like, I don't know why that Narbash and Revenant are just letting them push that far up, and I don't know why Rancid Luffy and MVP Posey are not doing anything about it.
Well, it's incredibly difficult for them to fight that.
There were 2 levels ahead of them.
The levels don't really matter too much. Bad Luffy can just take stuff for free. The Fang's early game power is incredibly high. Bad Beaver really is going to struggle if he gets hit by a smash and grab. And as we can see, there was a gank in mid laner by Posey. But as I mentioned, him showing himself on that side of the map means that everyone else knows roughly where he's going to be, where he's going to go next. And Craig are probably expecting him just to rotate from that Raptor side straight into the mid lane.
They're going to go back onto their buffs. MVP Posey going for a first buy blood bloat-soaked armor and using it on the minions. Interesting pick. So he's right now rocking a little bit of armor, a little bit of attack speed, and a little bit of crit. In the left lane...
It does increase his damage output a little bit in terms of clear speeds as well, increases that. However, he loses the sustainability in the jungle, and he ends up taking a lot of damage he didn't necessarily need to take.
Jaleo Paquito now diving in, getting the slow off. Will he go for the left crunch? And he will. It's also going to be Animal Crackers helping pick up the kill. They're now going to take down the tier 1 tower. First one to fall at 6 minutes into the game. And Crux MVP Posey in the jungle right now, just wailing away on those minions. Is he rocking a scythe or a siphon? He's rocking a siphon, okay.
Yeah, that does give him some crit power, crit chance in the jungle. You have to remember, a lot of players don't have full card collections, so there's potential with that. Maybe he's going that way, maybe he's going down a crit route, where he gets some crit on the Grux, and it's not a really popular route. However, if you get early game advantage, noble with it, but in the end of the day, getting a bit more survivability is what he really needs at the moment.
And there is the big stasis bomb coming out of the deck to add some stun, but C-Train will actually not get hit by it. River buffs are spawning right now. We have the Grux running into Krieger Clone. Krieger Clone's going to pick up the buff. He's level 5. Grux going for the smash and grab. It will miss. Black buff on the left side, and that one is going to go over to Animal Crackers, who's now stealing, or now picking up his own gold buff. I want to see Animal Crackers frag out with that black.
He's not probably going to get a chance to do it. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get onto a Fangmal and to be able to use an Obliterate in the middle of a minion wave, because that's one of the things Revenant does struggle when he gets to fight in the middle of a wave. His Obliterate actually lowers in damage quite substantially. He really needs that sort of 1v1 or 1v2 aspect where you can just sort of look to one side and get the Obliterate to target one person.
Crunch now level 5, so he does have his ultimate. He's going in on the mid lane. bit of a squabble going on. Jay Leo not too sure if he wants to commit or not. He's going to turn around and go back into his side of the map. Dual lanes have now swapped over as both tier 1 towers on the side lanes have actually fallen. This is going to create a 2v2 and 1v1 situation that everyone likes to see. Now, when you're on the Raptor side, I think it's best for you to try and keep that tower up for as long as possible. It allows you to freeze your wave and going. But if you're on Prime side, you sure want to get that tower down fast so you can switch over to Raptor side and help add more pressure onto that side of the map when that comes up. Jay Leo walking around trying to grab any sort of gank potential, any sort of map pressure, but not able to successfully do it. So he's falling behind a little bit right now in comparison to the Grux, who's just kind of focused on farming instead of going for ganks.
And we are seeing the buffs starting to spawn any second. Animal Crackers. I do like what Animal Crackers did. He ended up using a few hits on the wall first, so he can guarantee sort of the heavy hit on the buff, but he does have to reload straight away, and he ends up not being able to put out a lot of damage, as we can see.
There is Yin using her ultimate to stop the Obliterate from going any further and not doing any damage. Animal Crackers now engaging 2v1 of the enemy team. Narbash is joining the fight as well, as they're both trying to get that poke down, add that pressure, and get ready for those kills. Yin having no ultimate now, giving Remnant the advantage. On the right lane, we are seeing a bit of a squabble as C-Train is in a little bit of trouble. He's losing his ultimate. He's going to use the conversion shield to absorb the damage from the Reforge and the hamstring to follow up. C-Train should be able to jump out. He's going to reaping dash in, try and get the kill. Won't be enough, as C-Train just gets to walk away in the left lane. Now we are having Jay Leo Paquito dash in, getting hit by the stasis bomb right away. Yin using, containment field down to stop the aggression. Great peel coming out of both Ain't a Tater and Big Boys 98.
It's looking like, if we're just looking at pure power on the board, Animal Crackers sitting at 15 points ahead of and 10 Tater as well, who's only at 14. So he's already got a slight lead there in 1 point. Has gone for Meltdown with Magstone.
Green buff going in. Jayla Paquito is going for the dive to tank the tower. Goes in, gets the kill, gets out, but Rancid Luffy's nearby to help clean up. Tessa Dome is dropped to clear the minion wave as MVP Posey gets a smashing grab and a Warlord's challenge off. Batter Beeve going for the crash bang boom to try and peel for the enemy team as Krieger Clone uses the Neural Disruptor to get the damage off on the no mana Feng Mao, but Feng Mao doesn't have mana to begin with. Very small mana pool on the fighters. Doesn't take a whole lot of damage off on that one. River Buff spawning now 5 seconds away from the 11-minute mark as Rancid Luffy rotates back into his lane. Krieger Clone and K. Stanley could really use this buff, and it's going to be Krieger the one to grab it using the Void Bomb to secure it. On the left side, we have Ain and Tater getting the blue buff.
The thing is, Gadget has actually a rough time taking those river buffs against a lot of people. Kind of has to set up the sticky mine before it even spawns, so that it blows up as the river buff spawn is the only safe way to secure it without actually taking a much more riskier play and going for sort of the auto attack hits. And we do see here this Raptor pick going here for Epiphany. However, Gadget has no mana right now, so this could be incredibly risky, and they choose to back off, which I think is the correct play because they don't really have much in terms of resources here, especially with Gadget not being able to provide much in terms of power to the fight if there is going to be one.
I want to give a small shout out to Jay Leo Paquito for showing some restraint, not diving into a 3v1 situation, you know, showing that he's calm, cool, and level-headed, not having any panic. On the right side of the map, as we see, the Warlord's challenge gets brought out once again onto C-Train, who could be in a little trouble. However, Orange Team has no mana to engage further. It's to be Greystone walking out yet again to safety.
Yeah, he's getting later and later into this game. It's where he starts to get a little bit more tankier. He ends up getting a couple more healer tokens, so he can end up regenning a lot. Along with that passive means he can block maybe an extra hit in terms of the duration of one fight, which makes him a little bit more trickier to kill. However, his ult still has a really high sort of cooldown. I think it's about 2 minutes at level 1, and that's really rough.
Raptors are being taken this time by Hazelnut Nightmare. Yin comes in, containment fence is down. There is the Tesla Dome to add the Wombo combo to the to the fight. Batter B rotating in now, finally with the crash bang boom, getting it off on the Grux, who trying to dash away, won't be enough. There's the Neural Disruptor to finish the job off on the no mana Grux. Overall, that's going to be 2 Raptors and 1 kill for Hazelnut Nightmare. Great engage.
I'm not too sure Hazelnut managed to grab both Raptors. I think Animal Crackers...
I think Animal Crackers got one, and I think the Yin got the other.
Yeah.
And there's
they're
that
both
other
really
one.
close as well, but it's going to be a close game. I mean, neither of those teams have sort of taken a really strong lead. There's a slight lead in terms of creeps.
Greedy
That's about
Raptor.
it.
Yeah, it's a greedy Raptor right there. As soon as the rest of Epiphany see it, they start to rotate over. However, dual lane from Hazelnut Nightmare will be able to actually walk away with that one for free, and getting that reset timer on those Raptors. Card points and builds. How are we looking, Gems?
We do see it Ash of the Witch on Gadget. We haven't seen that card actually for a while on Gadget. If you do grab it, it's usually later stages of the game. However, it cannot be understated its power, especially with the Sticky Mine getting a little bit slow on the Sticky Mine, adding a little bit more slow onto your sort of drones as well. Just a little bit more because it ticks only once every 2 seconds. By minus 150 movement speed.
It's still viable, though.
So it's really good. Tesla Dome becomes a lot more tricky to escape, which is kind of a big deal in this case when there isn't a containment field coming out from Deca to sort of go with it. It adds a little bit more damage overall because of people having to deal with the slow. They walk out a little bit slower. They take a few extra ticks.
15 seconds away from River respawning once again at the 15-minute mark. Teams are posturing, farming. CP-wise, we're seeing 240 farm from Hazelnut Nightmare, 215 farm from Epiphany. Very close call. J. Leo picking up the pro buff. He is now invisible with a smidge of green. The green will actually burn out. He's looking to go and engage on the mid lane. He's going to walk right by the no mana Gadget. They're actually on the lookout for what is obviously a very invisible giant robot. And he's actually walking back into the Raptor pit. Right by the Yin. He's ready to engage. There is the slow. Double stasis gem coming out of the Decker. Seismic Assault will miss as the team rotates in well. There's a Scar coming out of Revenant. He's looking to get that Obliterate off and get that extra damage. Overall, the engagement will be a nil for nil, as no one's able to get a clear-cut advantage into the team fight in the jungle corridor.
I think it's a little bit early for stasis gems.
Are we getting them already?
No, I was a bit curious. You're just like, Deca uses stasis gem.
Oh, stasis gem? I meant stasis bomb, sorry.
Oh, the Deca has stasis gem?
There's too many things in this game with the name stasis, okay? There's...
I'm just like, I was like, but I didn't hear any animations going off. It's one of my favorite. Yeah, they're always on the lookout for that. Whenever someone's a stasis gem, it's like who's glowing, who's juking out sort of spells, important CCs. Iron Temptator not being able to really get much out now. Neither team really sort of taking a strong lead here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a game for that awkward mid game where, especially this is a common problem we see in a lot of newer teams that enter tournaments that might not be playing in tournaments a lot more frequently, where they don't know what to do at these points. They end up just playing passively and trying to stall out a little bit longer, but we don't see any sort of clear, defined plans coming out. No sort of planned invades to try take green or amber links or controlled vision. At the moment, neither team has sort of got vision on the enemy side. It's all on their own side.
Oh, J. Leo running right into Rancid left. He's getting the slow off of the left crunch. Empower. Oh, he gets hit by the smash and grab. I can't see because of the tree that's in the way. He's going to go down before he does. He gets the uppercut off. MVP Posey now dashing out. C-Tree in there to try and help out, but not enough CC in the kit of the Greystone to actually contribute anything overall for the crunch to survive that fight.
So it's a nice little sort of kill onto J. Leo Paquito. On the board now it's 4-4, both sides, a couple more assists. on one side. But again, card points looking actually pretty equal across the board. Neither team taking a substantial advantage, as I was mentioning, where we get to this mid game where neither team is really sort of making big game-defining plays. And,
well, you see,
each fight around Raptor is kind of just like a 1-for-1, and the Raptors kind of get traded, and it makes it really rough and really difficult to know what to do as well.
you see that in a lot of the newer teams. They don't have the synergy and the confidence to really make those plays that we saw Meds and the rest of Oxygen do. They tend to play a lot safer. They tend to try and just get the farm up. There's usually a mentality of, I need to have a clear-cut advantage to fight. They need, like, farm to 60, then win games sort of situation. Try and make a couple picks and plays in between there to help you get to 60, but they're not looking at taking objectives, because there's not... I really feel like it's a confidence issue. Like, oh, we can't do that right now. That's hard to do, and I think we'll lose the fight if we engage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, the fight's going to end up being like a 2-for-1, and that's usually okay for you. You've got an extra kill, an extra bit of points and power. It's a risk versus reward. It's trade-offs that people need to take, and we're seeing J. Leo Paquito going for a lot more of these.
And J. Leo getting hit by the stasis bomb, now inside of the Decker slow. He's gonna walk away. The Raptor buffs are up. Remnant in a little bit of trouble right now, is going in for the ultimate, using the Nether Realm to try and peel away from the Yin. Batter Beaver now engaged 3v1, landing the thunk on the Grux to try and get away. J. Leo Paquito knocking the Yin right up into the air. He's in a bit of trouble as no one's there to help him out. He's doing a good job of zoning out the enemy team. The team will follow up as they run through the Tesla Dome to try and pick up a kill, and they do get it onto Grux. Both junglers down in the fight, and now Gadget could be in trouble as the Obliterate goes out, and it will land through the wall. It's gonna be a double kill for the Revenant. Mid lane tower could be pushed, and these were the fights that we say need to happen a little more often. People need to get ready to play those riskier plays.
Now, it's gonna be a question of what they managed to take off of this, and I believe Raptors were up. I'm having the minimap bug, so I can't really tell if the Raptors are up right now. I think they are.
If you look close enough, you can actually see through the minimap.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, but again, Raptors were up, so they could have taken that. They decided to push down mid, weren't able to get that, but Animal Cracker is going to be in a happy position right now. He's managed to get a couple of kills there, taking 29 points, has got a 2-point lead on Yin as well, which is going to really help in sort of the 1v1 duels if he does try to take us to the level route, and Jewel there as well.
I feel like when you're Revenant, you try to not want to actually ult the other carry. Ulting someone who can deal as much damage as you is a risky pick. It could, like, it's a high risk, high reward situation, because if you win, you get that extra CP for 1, and 2, you knock the carry out of the fight. But
now, I really like what Epiphany did. They recognized that they saw that Animal Crackers hadn't recalled yet. He was incredibly low health.
Oh, good smash and grab to save the team coming from MVP Posey in the right lane. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine. JP Keto trying to go in as well. He looks like neither team is really going to be able to take anything much from this. But as I was mentioning, the Raptors were taken on the side of Epiphany. They recognized that Animal Crackers had to recall because he was low health, and they just snuck it because they had vision inside the pit.
All right. If anyone's wondering what the bans for this game were, I believe, off the top of your head, Gems, do you have them?
Morrigeshan phase.
It was Morrigeshan phase. Sorry, we'll get the chat updated as soon as possible. We'll have one of the mods take care of it. We also had some questions in chat and how we decide what we're streaming. Which we answered in chat before, but if anyone's new or just tuned to the stream now, before the game, smash and grab coming out of MVP Posey. He's gonna go for the Warlord's Challenge. Grux in a little trouble as Rancid left. He's now rotating over with the green buff. Instead of running away, he's trying to fight. That's bad news bears for the Greystone, who loses the Reforge. Earth Jatter will go out of the Feng Mao, and the double pain will clean up the rest of the mess that is Greystone.
So it's another kill going to the side of Epiphany. Their composition, as I was talking before, is incredibly strong. They have a lot of synergy between themselves. And we can see a counter engagement going in this mid lane. However, Bellica not able to get the knock up, and that's actually pretty big.
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit of An ultimate, that's going to be ultimate wasted, more or less, as we now have Rancid Levy diving into the mid lane, trying to get the tower damage down, or trying to put pressure onto that tower. We're responding now at the 23-minute mark. We have a black and a purple. This is a great combination. We are seeing the Yin rotate over to pick up that black buff, and that's going to do... Oh, no. Rancid Luffy taking it. Bellica going on to the purple. We should see an engagement here in just a second, as Krieger Clone could be in a bit of trouble as he's using the purple buff to walk right by 3 members of Epiphany.
Yeah, they are grouping up here in this mid. They have decided they want to take this tower down. They want to try and get their advantage there while they can. They do have a really reasonably sized wave to be able to do it as well.
Seismic Assault coming in, knock up, followed by J. Leo Paquito's knock up as well. J. Leo now stuck inside the containment field. Team engaging as well, and there's a crash bang boom. It will miss because Rancid Luffy will use the raping dash disengage. Thunk goes out, that misses as well. That's going to be a nice little pick overall for Hazelnut Nightmare. No follow-up on that one, though. A lot of ultimates being burned down. C-Train now running into the mid lane as well, as he has respawned. Trying to get that pressure down. Crux has backed. This does give Hazelnut Nightmare a bit of an opportunity to try and reassess what's going on the map, try and position themselves properly. As we do.
They're just going to be hovering around mid. They're going to be waiting for these Raptors most likely to come back up. If we're looking at builds, we can already see Bloodsoaked Armor we're talking about earlier on Posey has got fully upgraded now with armor. So he's going to be a lot more difficult to deal with, along with those Madsen gems, and also a Whirling one makes him incredibly more powerful. It does look like this mid lane is going to go down, and we are going to see them take it. And it's, again, just a tier 1, but it's not a big deal here. Epiphany have managed to secure themselves a little bit of a card lead on their carry of sitting at 36 on the end, but that it's only 1 point. 1 point right now, unless it's complete the bonus target.
Crunch getting caught in the jungle 3v1. He's trying to do his best, but he won't be able to get out as the Warlords Challenge and Tesla Dome are dropped. It's now Revenant and Narbash engaging onto the Yin, as the rest of the team is doing what they can to try and peel for their carry from Epiphany. Engagement over there. Team rotating over to Yin so she can use the repositioning tool on her Q to get out of the team fight. They had the advantage to take the Yin down. Yin doing a very good job using her ultimate to try and stop any sort of obliterator projectiles from actually hitting her, which would secure the kill on her.
Yeah, it's just using that lash kicker first just to get out and weave around in fights, which makes her incredibly agile, and that's one of the advantages of Yin. Yes, she has been recently lowered on the duration of her whiplash, but again, in sort of team fight-based compositions like this, where you have a Tesla Dome, you only really need to be able to survive long enough to output your damage. Being able to also consistently take Raptors and take them quickly, which Yin is still incredibly strong at doing, it means that going to increase this lead, is going to give her and Tentator an extra couple more points right now, sitting at good 40 points here to be spent, and that is going to make it a lot more favorable on the side of Epiphany.
That is definitely the case, and we might have an engagement in the jungle. J. Leo Paquito rotating around, looking at the Raptor buff. He does see the Raptors have been taken. He is under vision right now behind Krieger Clone, who's not looking on his map, getting engaged 3v1 by Fang, Yin, and Gadget. He's trying to get out. Tesla Dome will go down to zone out the enemy team. Even though it doesn't land, that's still good because you're trying to divert the person you're targeting into a direction more favorable for you. Because you don't want to walk into that Tesla Dome.
I don't think the Tesla Dome was 100% needed right there. I think it was fine just to go for another hit. And it would have secured the kill regardless from Krieger Clone. However, again, Raptors are down. 1 kill's gone onto the side of Epiphany extra, but we're not seeing any sort of significant advantage or plays being made out of it. They've decided that's going to be enough. It's still, I think, an okay play for them. They managed to get a pick and potentially a second pick from the Narbash.
Rancid Luffy now being engaged on as J. Leo Paquito uses the uppercut to knock the Fang Mao in the air. Thunk comes out. He has another one, and it's going to be Rancid Luffy getting away. J. Leo Paquito now dashing in right after him with the empowered rocket dash. Tater
There is a
rotating
There
into
is
the
a
mid
big
lane,
rotation
yeah.
here.
And we have Animal Crackers getting engaged on. Oh, the Stasis Gem will come out. He could be in a bit of trouble. He's stuck inside the Quelling Gales. There's Earthshaker coming out of the Feng Mouth. That's a two-man crash bang boon. J-Lip at low health, but he's trying to do whatever damage he can. And now it's going to be Krieger Clone running in. He picks up a kill with the Seismic Assault, followed by the Neural Disruptor. All he needs now is that cooldown from the Seismic Assault to come back up so he can get the stun. It's J-Leo Paquito. Not a lot of mana helping out the Bellica by showing his face into the mid lane.
So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade here. C-Train does get his Reforged popped here as well on the prime side of the map. Posey Grux with Blood-Soaked Armor melts through that first initial health bar. Isn't really able to take the full duel, but again, it's an ability you do want on cooldown to get it out of the way. Force C-Train to wait it out a little bit longer before he can take a favorable fight where he can get that Reforged down on the ground. And again, neither team taking a really big lead. And Tater is pretty much the guy to keep out track of right now, sitting at 45 points, 6 points ahead of Animal Crackers right now on the Revenant. And that is the difference of a whole card potentially completed with 1-point upgrades.
Now, as we were mentioning before, we got rudely interrupted by a team fight. How we decided to cast this game is before the stream, we take a look at the teams, we take a look at what could be a very a good matchup to spotlight the community and to show quality broadcasts, like good games. That's our goal here. So we want to spotlight the people in the community, show people's fan favorites, show people who are new to the tournament scene, and then get some good games by basically what we see. So that's the broadcasting schedule.
Gadget might be a little bit caught out here. Kaylee is just running away down to his helpful support. However, again, what I've been noticing is Kaylee's consistently been out of mana. It means that Gadget, when the fights are starting, has not really got many rotations of spells left. Has been pushing heavily and trying to get farm in that respect. Sitting at 90 farms right now, sitting at 31 points. Actually, 6 points behind of Krager Clone. He's managed to secure 4 kills and a 15-point minion lead here on the side of Hazelnut, and that is a pretty good advantage to have in the mid lane 1v1 fight if you can start taking a fight for Celica against Gadget. You end up using a drone, draining mana, and forcing Stanley to use spells so that when a fight does break out, you have the advantage.
Alright, and yet now with that wicked attack speed, getting hit by the Scar, the Obliterate isn't coming out just yet. Crash bang boom onto the end. The containment fence is there to lock the Narbash inside of a glass case of emotion. J. Leo Paquito going in. He's going to get the knock up onto the Decker. He needs to focus the Yin though. And now he's stuck inside a Tesla Dome all by himself. Gets hit by a stasis bomb before he can dash out. Overall, it's going to be Epiphany now starting to creep away with a clear-cut advantage over the enemy team.
We're also seeing problems Crunch has as well as the pick, the ones I keep going on about. That I know you love to not hear, where he does struggle to get into the fight. So he struggles, and we can see it happening in this game where he's fallen behind. He hasn't been able to get as much farm as he'd like. He's a couple points behind of
Well, he's
Posey.
building full meltdowns is the other thing.
Yeah, that makes him incredibly easy to kill, and we've seen here he's been prone to dying, and we're seeing a prime take in now as well.
Yin gets the prime, but Krieger Clone is going to finish out the Decker before anything else can happen. C-Train and MVP Posey now duking it out, but Grux does have the advantage, and the smash and grab will finish the job off. 4v3 right now situation in favor of Epiphany. They're now looking down to push down that tier 2 tower. It's only at half health. Shouldn't be too big of a deal for the primed up team. Quelling Gale will go out to stop the engagements onto Yin, but she walks out of her own ultimate and has to reposition herself. As J. Leo Paquito's back in, he uses the empowered dash, but he does get the kill, even though he divided himself away from the enemy team. It's going to be out of the Pure to make sure he gets out alive. Animal Crackers using the Obliterate Scar combination to burn down the Grux. He will be able to walk out as well. So overall, Good engagement from Jay Leo. I think he could have, if he had paid attention to his empowered ability a little more, he would have put himself in a safer position, and that would have allowed Hazelnut Nightmare to get a better engagement onto the team, probably actually winning that one out entirely opposed to the result they saw. Point being, they managed to save that tier. They managed to save the inhibitor. Tier 2 went down, but inhibitor's up.
It also does look like Animal Crackers might be quiet. They're going to pop that stasis gem, but most likely we're going to see Ransom Buffy go for the cleanup here. What I really want to point out is that they ended up losing the Prime buff on a number of their opponents. That's kind of the main take from this. That they managed to remove it. At the moment, I think Gadget might be one of the only people who still has it. And Grux. Gadget and Grux are the only two right now, I think, that have it.
All right, Jay Leo now going for the green buff. It will actually go over to... Nope, the game bugged. Won't show us who got it. Jay Leo does have... Oh. Instead of going for the knockup, he chooses to go for the left crunch, the big sweep. That'll actually cost him his life. He's going to go down to Rancid Luffy. Double sizing assault is going to land. Battered Beaver is there to try and defend, but he has no mana to do anything. C-Train trying to stop the minion wave from going any further. Greystone can only do so much, though, as the tower dive on the inhibitor will actually finish the job on the Narbash. It's now C-Train versus the world. He's trying to stop the team from pushing any further. His team's walking out of Fountain past core into the mid lane now as well. Animal Crackers has just respawned. He's ready to defend. But Epiphany's going to back off. They got their inhib, they got their big win, and they got some kills.
Yeah, it's really strong lead. They managed to get that inhib with the last couple of seconds of that prime. They do have Raptors now up as well for the taking, with Hazelnut being on the defensive, no vision control on that side of the map either, no wards, no real sort of strong coverage. Really, it's going to be another free Raptor on top of it. That is going to be a full build Yin right there, hitting 6 points right off these Raptors. Might even just give one to Deca to boost a little bit of support power, get a couple of cards, because it's not really going to need any more after these Raptors are gone.
At this point, Yin is so far ahead of the Revenant. She gets into a team fight. She's going to completely just tear through Hazelnut Nightmare. C-Train, I feel like, has been having some issues struggling on his map awareness, on his positioning this game, because he's consistently been caught out in his lane, overextended without really a lot of vision throughout the entire game, regardless of where he is.
I believe we might have lost Jack.
Oh.
There we go. I think you're back, Jack.
Jack is back. If you lose me, you lose the stream entirely, to be fair.
Okay, so we haven't really lost too much, and I think you are back, and I think we are okay. I don't think the stream was actually cut out, so we'll kind of just carry on right now. And Yin, 60 points, is going to be a bit of a monster to deal with, especially with the lead against Animal Crackers, 14 points ahead overall. Yes, he does have that Stasis Gem, which will give him that extra survivability, what you've seen. However, Stasis Gem doesn't reposition you. So if you're the only one there at the time of the Stasis Gem when you're using it, it just allows people to relocate, reposition, and get into a position to take you out even quicker, which is kind of one of the negatives of it.
Krieger Clone being engaged on by the Feng Mao. Jay Leo coming in with a big knockup. He's burning down that gadget. He's trying to get away, but Krieger Clone will finish the kill off. C-Train running in now with the crit Greystone. I'm getting so many bugs. There are so many drones on my map right now. It is ruining my frame rate. C-Train burning down the Reforge, and he will have to try and dive out of there, but the containment fence will knock them in and keep 3 in there. However, Gadget's fallen down, so there will be no follow-up from the Tesla Dome. Animal Crackers going in for the ultimate. He does get it off. He's caught in the Warlord's Challenge clap as he's trying to fight off the Yin. Won't be enough. He's the last one alive. The Stasis Gem will not save him, and this will be the game. Epiphany slowly creeping their lead throughout the entire game, and that just added up time over time over time, having a giant flat lead at the end. And they've actually used it very efficiently, because they're going to be the ones to win the game. And that was another bracket, I believe, that was just one, right?
I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have a quick look at the overall sort of matches. See if Epiphany have actually, made it through. But that is definitely a round 2 win for them. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually play out later on, if they actually end up winning a couple of games here or there.
Mhm.
I can quickly grab the results as we speak. So Epiphany, I believe, won their first game as well in the first round and the second round. And
So they're going to be moving on.
well, they have 2 wins. They can still fall down depending on what the other team's results are, but they're in a really strong position to take that group. And at the end of the day, obviously, we're going to try and avoid potential spoilers for rounds, depending on who gets casted on the other stream. So I'm tempted to avoid because I think the rounds 3 have been played as well. But again, results will be coming out later on. We'll end up seeing if Epiphany has made it. But considering this match, they started off slow, but when they got that lead, when they got the prime, they took the inhibitor straight off with the prime. They managed to secure a couple of Raptors in a really sneaky way, where they knew they had complete control of that side of the map, and they're looking like a strong team that we should keep track of as well.
Yeah, I know Epiphany is showing a strong showing. Once they do get a little more synergy down and some more team practice in, I feel like they'll be able to pass into the next round, maybe the round after, even that.
Okay, so I've got a bit more information. I think 2 teams forfeited. So I think with that knowledge, I'm pretty sure Epiphany has made it through.
Okay, there you go. Then that would be it. We're going to get the next game underway in just a second. I'm not too sure if I have time for it. We'll try and squeeze it out, and we'll let you guys know. If not, we'll be hosting the main stream to let you guys, watch the rest of the games today, because, Paragon is love. Paragon is life. So is Narbash.
I believe our next game's a really big match. You guys are going to really want to stick around for this one.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be Finesse versus Explicit. A lot of teams don't know the team name of Explicit. However, they are an incredibly strong team lineup with Shiu, Font, and Char, and a guy's name I can't really pronounce, so I'm going to try and avoid it for now.
That's high to you. He was the Korean guy.
Yeah.
He was the mid lane. He was the old mid laner for Team Eidolon. They picked.
So strong players against what we know as the current champions of the PCL that we've been seeing in the past, and of Finesse. And their first showing ended up taking everything by storm. So Explicit have a huge hurdle in front of them. They are the underdogs in this matchup, but it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can do it. But that's going to be after this break.
All right, we'll catch you in a little bit.